From KPRC 2, this is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
Welcome to this special edition of Houston Newsmakers as we prepare to celebrate the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday tomorrow. For some, it will be a day of leisure or of community service, a parade watching, or maybe nothing at all. But I thought I'd take this time to talk a little bit about what the man who this day is named for, what he stands for. He made many uncomfortable as he spoke uncomfortable truths. In April of 1967, a year before his death, he gave his most memorable speech against the Vietnam War as an enemy of the poor, lost support across the board when he said these uncomfortable truths about that war. He said, "We're taking black young men who had been crippled by our society and sending them 8,000 miles away to guarantee liberties in Southeast Asia, which they had not found in Southwest Georgia and East Harlem." So we've been repeatedly faced with the cruel irony of watching Negro and white boys on TV screens as they kill and die together for a nation that has been unable to seat them together in the same schools. Strong and quite uncomfortable words that hit home during that turbulent time. But then Dr. King's words were often uncomfortable to hear and often right. Harry Johnson knows Dr. King's legacy well. He led the way to raise the money for the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial in Washington, D.C., the first such memorial to a non-president, and a memorial that this past fall celebrated 10 years since its dedication. Harry Johnson, the president of the CEO Memorial and CEO of the Memorial Foundation, joins me this morning to talk about the dream of Dr. King and where we stand 10 years after the dedication. Good morning, Harry. Good to see you, sir, as always.
Good morning. Good morning, Cambrell. Thank you so much for having me on this morning.
Oh, it's great to see you and great to hear your comments about the original purpose of the memorial. Has it lived up to what your expectations have been for when you first led this effort?
Far beyond that, the memorial has become the 5th most visible memorial on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. We thought it was going to be built so that people of color could come and have somebody to look up to and acknowledge, especially Dr. King on his birthday. The memorial has become a place of solitude for millions of people across the country and indeed the world. When you go visit there, you see people from all nations there. So Dr. King's memorial has become exactly what we wanted to and more.
You know, I earlier talked about one of his speeches that pricked the consciousness of society as he talked about Vietnam. His memorial, the memorial really showcases many of the quotes from his speeches. Talk about why it was laid out that way, so that his comments were laid out throughout the memorial as you walk around that beautiful site.
We wanted the memorial to speak not only to a generation of past and present, but to the future. So we came up with 4 themes around the memorial of those quotes: democracy, justice, hope, and love. We felt that those quotes talked about everything that Dr. King wanted to say to the people of America and the world. So when you walk around, you read the 14 different quotes, each of them has something to say about democracy, justice, love, or hope. We took out mentions of gender and race, because we hope that in the next 50, 60 years, we won't be talking about gender and race, but talking about people in general and humankind.
You know, by the way, I've been there. It's amazing to just go and I just take it, and hopefully just nice and quiet and just take it all in. Our country today is divided in ways very similar to the way it was divided when Dr. King was on the front lines in this fight. What would you say to those who would say his dream for this country right now is just as far away as it was when he was alive on this earth?
It may be just as far away, but however we can come together. This country has been built for years on different values and ideals. We started off with Jefferson with, should it be a democracy or anarchy? And we chose democracy. When it was Lincoln, it was North versus South, and Lincoln said this is the United States of America. And with Dr. King, black versus white, have versus have-nots. We're back there again. And Dr. King basically said we ought to come together as brothers, and that the arc of the universe is long, but it always bends towards justice. And that's what we ought to be looking upon and thinking about during these turbulent times that we're going through in our country.
And we talked earlier, talk a little bit about what the memorial is doing today. It's more than just a site for people to come visit. The Memorial Foundation is actually doing things around the country on a regular basis.
We say that there's a living memorial. While it sits there in Washington, D.C., 30 feet tall, Stone of Hope, it's more than that. We have programs that extend around the country. Number one, we have a social justice fellows program that we kicked off We picked out of 150 applicants, 50 enterprising young men and women from around the country to take part in an 8-week process to figure out how do you take your protest to policy. And so we're going to bring those 50 students to D.C. this year as they interact with members of Congress, and then pick another 50. We also created a youth leadership conference that travels to 8 different cities, 8 different HBCUs. And what we do with that is we actually bring together 300 high school kids to talk to them about Dr. King's principles of leadership, how to get into college, STEM component, and basically how to make a better you. And surprisingly enough, one of those is going to take place here in Houston, Texas, Texas Southern University, and Prairie View in the near future.
It is amazing what you have done. You're a great representative of this great city of Houston, Texas, what you're doing for the world there in Washington, D.C. You and the great people who work with you, we'll give them all the credit as well. Harry Johnson, thank you. Good luck in your continuing efforts with the memorial as you touch lives around the world. Appreciate you.
It is my pleasure.
Thank you, sir.